Okay, so here we can see in this crop where we've got a nice spread of maturity of the reproductive parts. As an example of why it's very important to be flexible and on the ball with your insect management, and particularly your insect scouting. So we've got a pod raceme like this one of the earliest ones set, where it's only about 3 or 4 days off maturity. All those beans are starting to segment. And from here we look right up here to the other end of the spectrum, where we got these buds that are effectively turning into little pods. And the time that it would take, given the prevailing temperature regime at the moment, for one of these newly fertilised flowers to turn into a mature pod is probably about 21 to 24 or 5 days. So here we've got something that's almost mature to something that's 3 weeks off. That poses challenges in terms of our insect scouting and the flexibility in terms of our insect management. It's not a one size fits all. You have to respond to what's there. We could see insects which affect flowering now, and we could also see insects, for instance Heliothis, or shield bugs that affect matured or maturing pods, and we've just got to be right on the ball. Okay, here we are, day 42. This is a seed crop of jade. We've been very fortunate this season in that despite regular checks, we've not actually had to spray. None of the insects have been above threshold so far. We've been seeing some continual moth activity, albeit at light levels, and the odd egg here and there, but certainly nothing has grown up into larval stages in significant enough populations to warrant control. However, that may be just around the corner, so we will see. Using our trusty beat sheet, and our 1 metre stick, and if we survey the results, one Healy, a looper, and that's about it. No shield bugs and no bean pod borer, which is nice. So what we'll probably do is another 4 or 5 samples in this area, and then sample another few areas in the paddock, take those results back, crunch the numbers, and work out where we are in terms of thresholds, and it'll be documented, so when we come back in 2 or 3 days and do the same thing, we can just see a trend of what's happening, and hopefully we may not even have to spray. Okay, well, we're really in peak demand here, and it's timely to just review the nodulation of these plants, make sure that it's all still going along strong, and if I can be lucky enough with a fairly compressed from irrigation soil profile to get a nice undisturbed root volume, we should be able to tease that apart and get a look at the nodule counts. So very carefully, you can see on that lateral root already a heck of a lot of nodules. We've probably lost a few, but you can see right the way there we've got a real proliferation of nodules all down those lateral roots, which is fantastic. We just want to make sure, and it should be no dramas, that they're active. And you see how easy they break off, active and functioning, so they should be nice and fresh looking inside. And we see they're nice and light brown, almost pink, and that's what we want. Nice and fleshy and doing their thing. Perfect. So that's why it's worthwhile going through the agony of inoculating seed when you're planting. It's not a fun job, but it certainly does bring benefits, especially this time in the life cycle of the crop where it really is needing to suck all those nutrients up as quick as it can.